but still 8 innings, scoreless ball. How was he able to get through 8?
I thought his stuff was, even by Sevy standards, I thought it was great. I mean, the fastball even just seemed to me to have even more life. I thought he pitched really well. You know, he's pitching on the 6th day where he had the shorter outing, and it just stuff-wise, it seemed to be really coming out well today. In that 4th inning where, you know, he went to a lot of off-speed pitches, really pushed the change up there, and I think a couple hitters got away from him a little bit. But you almost saw him step off the mound and kind of talk to himself for a minute, rein it in, and then he got after him for those last, you know, 3+ innings after that little bump where I saw him kind of step off and correct himself, and then it was off to the races from there.
Is this pretty much what you've come to expect from him?
Obviously, anytime he goes, I feel great about it. I mean, he's a great pitcher. He's clearly establishing himself as one of the best in the game, and he gave us a lot today.
Do you look at it as more encouraging news when it comes to Sanchez at the plate? Another big.
Yeah. And in fact, the first time up, he popped up the ball to third. I mean, that's the one where it's like he's all over that pitch. He's in a strong position, and that's the one he's kind of been missing over these last few weeks. And he missed it there that first time, and you know, I'm sure he's frustrated with it. But to continue to battle through there, and obviously add us a big insurance run there with a long one straight away.
Damn.
It was kind of a curious play there I think to start the 5th, the pop-up that Sanchez was under, and then Luis kind of came out of nowhere. Do you think that was just Severino being aggressive, or was there something else there?
Yeah, I thought it was a good play by Sevy. It was definitely him being aggressive. I think when the ball first went up, Gary didn't see it. So I think, you know, with the sun being what it was, the way I saw it was Gary looked at it and then kind of looked to his right for maybe help from the third baseman or something, like he couldn't find it. And I think Sevy saw that maybe he didn't see it. So I just think he said, I'm going to catch it, and it went up and got the rebound.
You like that kind of play, especially from a pitcher, where it's kind of unusual?
Look, I'd like our pitchers, for the most part, to stay out of the pop-up game, but you know, things come up. You know, if you sense something's happening there where, you know, he loses the ball and he's looking for help, I have no issue with our guy going and being aggressive and playing.
Pass it behind you.
What was Gary's feeling on it? Because he looked kind of shocked at the ball got taken away from him, and you know, I know there's questions about his glove and stuff, and he dropped one the other night. So, well, how was he?
He was fine. And, you know, Sevy and him are like brothers, so I didn't hear the banter, but they were kind of going back and forth when they got back in the dugout. But I think it was just, I don't think there was much to it other than if you watch Sevy's reaction, at least it looked like to me, he saw Gary kind of struggle with finding it, then look, and he just went into go catch it mode, which I thought was a smart thing to do.
Kenny.
Aaron, how much easier do you think it has been for Gary and for Stanton to have subpar seasons for them, but the team keeps winning?
How much what?
How much easier is it because the team keeps winning despite their subpar season so far for both?
Yeah, I think it's huge. And the bottom line is both those guys have had a significant hand in us winning also. So, yeah, this game will get you. This game will humble you. It's hard. But at the end of the day, if you're shaking hands at the end of the day, that's how I always looked at it as a player, man. It made it a lot easier. Made it a lot easier to kind of power through and grind through as you make adjustments and try and continue to lock it in. In the end, that's what we're all here to do.
In the middle.
Aaron, given that Sanchez and Stanton really haven't busted out yet, and Didi obviously has had wild swings, what has Judge's presence meant just kind of as a stabilizing force there?
Yeah, I mean, he's just such a good player. And, you know, even when Aaron goes through, you know, a few days where he's not swinging great, the at-bat quality doesn't really change all that much. You know, night in and night out, he's going to make it really hard on pitchers. And they understand that they have to make their best pitches to retire them. And you can sense that. You can sense the stress that he puts on a pitcher, day in and day out and throughout the course of a game. He really makes them work hard no matter his results.
Now right here in the front.
On a day when Stanton and Sanchez hit home runs, I mean, do you feel like you're sort of glimpsing all of the potential, what it might look like when things do come together as you've been forecasting?
Oh, I don't know. Obviously we're results driven, and we all pour so much into the day in trying to shake hands at the end of the day, but there's also you pull for your guys. So more in the individual sense of things, you're just pulling for guys that you really care about getting it rolling. What they're putting into it. How hard they're working at their craft. So to see them get results, I think on an individual basis, I think you just feel good for them. In the grand scheme of things, it's all about the day and trying to get through and shake hands at the end.
Dan.
You guys entered today with the third best record in history through this part of the season, just the 98 Yankees and the Mariners, I think, in 01. Did you think this was the kind of team you were taking over this year? And I know you thought they were good, but
yeah,
it's good.
Whatever the record ends up being, that can sometimes be a little circumstantial, and whether a team ends up winning 90 games or 98 or 100 and set, that's not necessarily the end goal. When I look at this team and knew I was taking over this team, I looked at us at having a chance to be great, and that's the goal, is for us to be great. And as far as what the record is and what it means and matching us up, I don't really get caught up in that that much. It's more about how can we continue to improve as a club, and that's ultimately our goal, with the idea that we have a chance to be special. But right now in June, it's a chance.
Stephen, and then pass it behind you.
Aaron, when you saw Severino as an analyst, could you ever have foreseen that he'd be in the company of pitchers like Verlander and Kluber, and who obviously have been around longer and more established, but that he would get to the point now where he's in that conversation?
And could I have imagined? Sure. I remember pretty clearly when he first came up and burst onto the scene, and obviously there was a lot of talk about him, and I mean, the stuff leaps off the screen right away. Obviously then he has some struggles, ultimately gets moved to the bullpen, so it's a question, is this guy going to survive as a starter? Does he have a third pitch necessary to be an elite starter? And adversity, experience, goes a long way when you can persevere, and he in a lot of ways has persevered through a lot of stuff for a young man early in his career, and I think all of that has only made him a better pitcher, and now we're seeing kind of in a lot of ways a finished what an elite pitcher in the league looks like, and he's a special one.
Aaron, what does he see in Glaber that's allowing him not to get into any kind of extended funk so far since he's been
What
up
have
there?
I seen from who?
From Glaber.
I think mechanically, I think his swing lends itself to I think what he does really well, and I know I've talked to you guys about this, is I feel like he goes up there on the hunt really well, and the mechanics of his swing allow him to be uber aggressive when he's on the attack, but the ability to shut down late on pitches maybe out of the zone that a pitcher wants to get him to chase or something. He does a really good job of shutting it down, and I think that's because the mechanics of his swing and how it all works allows him to do that.